So to curb this menacing air pollution, the Wakandan government introduced a policy named the Green Wakanda Policy, restricting the movement of vehicles for a period of 15 days. When this saw us great success, the Wakandan government announced that the Green Wakanda Policy is to be extended for a further period of 2 years. The long period of the extension was seen as a restriction upon the fundamental liberties of various stakeholders, which ultimately led to protests of various stakeholders. Keeping in mind of the ongoing protests, the Fundamental Liberties Group, a registered society, approached the Honorable High Court of Wakanda by filing a public interest litigation to declare the extension of Green Wakanda Policy to be unconstitutional. Would Your Excellency, can I move on to the issues at hand?
Yes.
Much obliged, Your Excellency. The first issue at hand is whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the Honorable High Court of Wakanda. It is most humbly submitted before this honorable bench that the public interest litigation filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable before this honorable court, since the same is filed in the interest of public at large. The Honorable Apex Court, in the case of People's Union for Democratic Rights and another versus Union of India and others, defines public interest litigation as a collaborative or cooperative effort by the petitioner, the state of public authority, and the judiciary to secure observance of constitutional or basic human rights, benefits, and privileges upon poor, downtrodden, and vulnerable sections of the society. Your Excellency, the present case portrays a rare case scenario wherein the act of the respondent has struck a hot iron rod not only upon the poor section of the society, but also the individual at all levels of economic status. Henceforth, the petitioner has approached this forum of justice to protect the rights of the people, protect the rights of the stakeholders which are in stake. The next sub-issue is, Your Excellency, whether the petitioner is having a locus standi to file the bill. Whenever there is a public wrong or injury caused by an act or commission of the state of a public authority which is contrary to the constitution or the law, then any member of the public acting bona fide and having sufficient interest can maintain an action for redressal of such wrong or injury. The Honorable Apex Court, in the case of SP Gupta versus Union of India, held that a person acting bona fide and having sufficient interest in the proceeding of public interest litigation will alone have a locus standi and can approach the court to wipe out violation of fundamental rights. Henceforth, it is most humbly submitted that the petitioner is having a locus standi to file the public interest litigation, since the petitioner is having genuine interest to protect the infringed right of the stakeholders. Moving on to the next sub-issue, whether the petitioner has met with the requirements to file the bill, is humbly submitted that the most fundamental requirements to file a bill are there should be a violation of fundamental rights. The petitioner, Your Excellency.
Yes. What are you saying? Bill for a PIL. That's the short form you're using. It's PIL. Please use PIL. It's not bill.
Sorry, Your Excellency, I will just use PIL.
Go ahead.
So the next requirement to file a bill is that the petitioner should represent the rights of the public. And the final most important requirement is that the petitioner should come to the court with clean hands. So the initial requirement of being the fundamental rights violated, the act of the respondent extending the Green Wakanda Policy has resulted in a consortium of fundamental rights violation. The extension is infringing the right to equality, the right to life, the right to education, the right to freedom of trade and occupation offered by the Constitution of Gotham. The next requirement is that the petitioner should represent the public interest at large. So, paragraph 5 of the moot proposition clearly states that, keeping in mind the strong opposition to the extension of the Green Wakanda Policy and the active protest against the same, the Fundamental Liberties Group, who are a registered society working towards upholding fundamental liberties, approach this honorable bench. Henceforth, it is on the face showing the fact that the petitioner is having a genuine public interest and is also representing the public at large. The last requirement to file a bill is that the petitioner should come with a clean heart. So, in the present case, the petitioner has come to this forum of justice not only with clean heart, but also with clean hands, mind, and objective. So, the council most humbly submits before this honorable bench that the requirements to file a bill have been duly satisfy the petitioner. The last sub-issue under the first issue is that whether the jurisdiction of the High Court can be invoked in the present case. It is humbly submitted before this honorable court that where a question of law of general public importance arises, the jurisdiction can be invoked. In the present case, undoubtedly, there exists a substantial question of law, which questions the constitutional validity of the policy formulated by the respondent. And therefore, the jurisdiction of this High Court can be rightly invoked. Lastly, speaking about the doctrine of good governance, in the Honorable Apex Court, in the case of Manoj Narula versus Union of India, identified that in a democracy, the citizen legitimately expect that the government of the day would treat the public interest as primary one and any other interest secondary. Since good governance is the fundamental and basic right contemplated under Constitution, the petitioner is entitled to approach this honorable court for violation of the same. Excellency, if you got any queries with the first issue, the council would seek permission to clear the same.
Just a second, I'll ask you. When you talk about the maintainability, the fact that you are the one who are maintainable and have the locus standi, how do you prove that you are directly affected with this? What is the direct relevance to this? Yes.
Your Excellency, Fundamental Liberties Group initially was set up to protect the liberties of humans at large. So when the restriction is placed upon the non-essential sectors and some other restricted sectors, their liberties are at stake at large. So basically, with that regard, Fundamental Liberties Group is having its own interest, which is the interest of the public at large, being infringed by the act of the respondent. It is giving the power to Fundamental Liberties Group to approach this forum of justice to get justice.
All right. And the second point with respect to good governance, which you've put forward. So is this concept an obligatory concept to be followed, or is it a laid down statutory regulation which you need to follow?
Essentially, Your Excellency, doctrine of good governance is not a statutory concept which has to be followed by the government. But since the respondents are stating the government is upholding the directive principles of state policy by restricting the movement of vehicles, then why the respondents are not holding good to the doctrine of good governance? The directive principle of state policy is again not a compulsory principle which has to be followed by a government. The government is rightly holding good for that directive principle of state policy. And doctrine of good governance, though having not a statutory weight, must also have been placed reliance by the act of the respondent.
All right. Since you've presented and used the term directive principles, tell me the difference between directive principles and fundamental duties. What is
much obliged, Your Excellency. The very reason for incorporating two different principles, that is fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy in the Constitution of India, is that the fundamental rights are holding the spine of the Constitution, which means that the government should always prevent the fundamental rights of persons. So whenever the directive principles and fundamental rights comes in conflict with each other, the government should back the fundamental rights. Then directive principles of state policy is nothing but principles of good governance which have to be incorporated by the government. But no one can enforce directive principles of state policy against the government. But when there is violation of fundamental rights, any person can approach the forum of justice to enforce the same. So basically, Your Excellency.
So here your directive principles of state policy are being infringed and fundamental rights are not being infringed.
Pardon, Your Excellency, the council couldn't get the question of yours.
Are we supposed to stop, or I can ask the question?
It is your choice. You can grant an extension if you want.
If you want, you can grant an extension.
A minute's extension. I just want an answer on this. So here in the discussion, you've always talked about the good governance and the directive principles of the state policy. However, the fact that you have not pressed upon the infringement of the fundamental rights is what I put forward to you. This act isn't not in violation of any of your fundamental rights and infringement of the same.
Your Excellency, my next issue would be followed. The council would request a further extension of 2 minutes to briefly sum the second issue, Your Excellency.
2 minutes you have. Please brief up.
Thank you so much, Excellency. The second issue is that whether the extension of Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. The council sums up its contention under 3 heads. whether the extension of Green Wakanda policy is violating Article 14, which is right to equality. So, with a policy which has to satisfy the Article 14 has to undergo two conditions. That is, it must be based on intelligible differentia and rational nexus. But the respondent acts of grouping the essential sectors and non-essential sectors and restricted sectors and exempted sectors is not based upon any reasonable classification or intelligible differentia, and neither it has reasonable nexus between the object and the means of doing it. Moving on to the next sub-issue, the council submits that the extension of Green Wakanda policy is essentially violating the right to freedom of trade, occupation, and business, which is provided under Article 19, Clause 1, Clause G of the Constitution of Gotham. So, on the plain reading of the article, it gives us a meaning: a trade or business can be restricted only if that particular business or trade is having infringing the rights of another person or having a threatening factor of the public order or health. But in the present case, merely holding non-essential sectors vehicles should be restricted. There's nowhere a reasonable classification under Section 19, Article 19, Clause 1, Clause G. And moving on to the next sub-issue, whether the extension of Green Wakanda policy is violating Article 21, Your Excellency, in the plethora of cases, the Honorable Apex Court has held that right to livelihood is part of right to life under Article 19, under Article 21. So, apologies, Your Excellency. So, when the council is relying upon the reality, not any perceptions. In these tough times, when the whole nation is in lockdown, Your Excellency, we all are seeing the plight of the daily wage workers and everyone who are fighting the greater demands of hunger and poverty. So when this happens, when the extension happens, when the organization is running only for 10 days per month, what will the daily wage workers will do for the remaining 20 days? So this extension is apparently violating Article 21 of the Constitution. Finally, this extension is violating the right to education guaranteed under Article 21. Your Excellency, Ms.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel, from the side of respondent, you may begin. You are mute. I have sent a notification to you to unmute it.
Yeah.
Yes. You are unmuted now.
Good afternoon, bench. The council appears on behalf of respondent. The council seeks permission to address the bench as Your Lordship.
Granted.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The council seeks permission to move on to the statement of jurisdiction.
Please move ahead.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The respondent submits the memorandum in response to the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group before the Honorable High Court of Wakanda under Article 226 of the Constitution of India. The respondent seeks direction from the Honorable Court to support the government to expand the application of the Green Wakanda policy from a month to a period of 2 years. If Your Lordship is well versed with the statement of jurisdiction, I would like to move on to the issues. The council would like to move on to the issues.
Please move ahead.
This includes two issues. First issue is whether the petition filed by Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the Honorable Court of Wakanda, and the second issue is whether the extension of Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. The council seeks permission to move on to the arguments advanced.
Please move ahead.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. If moving on to the first issue, whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the High Court of Wakanda, it is humbly submitted before the Honorable Bench that the petition filed by FLG is not maintainable because the decision taken by the state government to extend the application of the Green Wakanda policy from 1 month to a period of 2 years was due to the environmental concerns. The government took such a step because the policy turned out to be the major success as pollution levels significantly dropped in January 2020. And the government also released report detailing the improvement in air quality level while comparing the air quality index of January 2020 to January 2019. is given in Annexure A. Right to live is the fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution of India, and it includes the right of enjoyment of pollution-free water and air for full enjoyment of life. The right to life under Article 21 means a life of dignity, to live in a proper environment, free from the dangers of diseases and infection. Over the past few years, there have been increasing reports of extremely dangerous air quality levels in Wakanda. The ever-worsening situation can be tracked to a number of reasons, from which most concerning issue was vehicular pollution. Air pollution consisting of chemicals or particles in air that can harm the health of humans, animals, and plants. It also damages buildings. It can cause pneumonia or bronchitis to humans. The air pollution can also result in heart disease, lung cancer, or respiratory diseases such as emphysema. It can also cause long-term damage to people's nerves, brain, kidneys, liver, and other organs. Young children and other adults whose immune system tend to be weaker are often more sensitive to pollution. Conditions such as asthma, heart disease, and the lung disease can be made worse by exposure to air pollution. It causes global warming due to the increase in amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. In order to curb this growing menace of air pollution, the Wakanda government introduced the Green Wakanda policy for the month of January 2020, and it turned out to be the major success as pollution levels significantly dropped in January 2020. Seeing the resounding result shown due to the policy initiative, the Wakanda government decided to extend the application of the policy from 1 month to a period of 2 years. In the case Rural Litigation and Entitlement Kendra Dehradun and others versus the state of UP and others, also known as the Dehradun Querying case, the Supreme Court of India had held that pollution caused by queries adversely affects the health and safety of people, and hence the same should be stopped as being violative of Article 21. In this case, the Supreme Court for the first time held that the right to wholesome environment is a part of right to life and personal liberty guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. Further, in the case of Subhash Kumar versus State of Bihar, again the Apex Court held that the right to get pollution-free water and air is a fundamental right under Article 20 and 21. Following this decision, the right to pollution-free environment was incorporated under the head of right to life, and all the law courts within the India territory were bound to follow the same. Similarly, in the case of Ratlam municipality versus the Vardi Charan, where the problem of pollution was due to private polluters and haphazard town planning, it was held by the Supreme Court that pollution-free environment is an integral part of right to life under Article 21. If your Lordship is well versed with the issue 1, the Council would like to move on to the issue 2.
Please do.
Much obliged, your Lordship. The second issue states that whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. Under this, it is humbly submitted before the Honorable Bench that the extension of Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid because, according to Article 48A in the Constitution of India, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forests and wildlife, the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country. And this is what the government of State Wakanda has done by introducing the Green Wakanda policy. In order to curb the menace of air pollution, as over the past few years, there have been increasing reports of extremely dangerous air quality levels in Wakanda. This policy turned out to be the major success as pollution levels significantly dropped. Due to the resounding results shown by the policy, the Wakanda government decided to extend the application of policy from 1 month to a period of 2 years. According to the Article 51A(g) in the Constitution of India, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Now, as the state government is already taking the initiative to curb this growing menace of air pollution through the Green Wakanda policy, so now it is the responsibility and duty of the citizens to come forward and make this possible to reduce the pollution level. pollution level of the state, as there already have been increasing reports of extremely dangerous air quality levels in Wakanda. And before it turns that worse, the people are unable to bear the atmosphere and face different diseases. They should accept the extension of this policy, and as it turned out to be the major success, because pollution levels significantly dropped in the month of January 2020, as the report is already declared by the government, the state government. In the case State of West Bengal and others versus Sujit Kumar Rana in the year 2014, Article 48 and 51 AG of the Constitution were read together, and this court expressed that these provisions have to be kept in mind while interpreting statutory provisions. If your Lordship is well versed with this second issue, so the Council would like to seek permission to move on to the prayer.
Well, I will want to ask questions. Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you that, firstly, when you talk about the maintainability and the validity of any action which is being taken by the government, per se, the Constitution is there, right? However, in this present situation, the present matter and issue we have, there have been specific to the movement of the vehicles. So what is your say in the fact that what law is to be, taken into consideration for the vehicular movement? Because I do not see a specific amendment made to that fact.
The Motor Vehicle Act
and Motor Vehicles Act, precisely. So the Motor Vehicles Act, where does it allow the state government to, stop the movement, and on what grounds is the Motor Vehicle Act is in consonance with, say, the environmental laws or the Constitution to ensure the movement? Because Motor Vehicles Act is a special act.
Yes, Your Lordship, I would like to mention that reasonable restrictions can be imposed on rights. Like it is pertinent to note that none of the fundamental rights conferred under Article 40, 19 or 21 are absolute in nature. They can be reasonably restricted in accordance with law. Reasonable classification between essential and non-essential goods and services sector with nexus to the object of achieving better public health by reducing threatening level of air pollution is permissible in law. Further, like Article...
All right,
yes,
you may stop.
Okay. Thank you, Lordship.
Petitioners Council, you have any rebuttal?
Yes, sir.
If you wish, you can proceed now.
Your Excellency, the Council seeks permission to proceed with rebuttals.
Please, please.
Excellency, to the start, my sister council has argued that the petition is not maintainable since policy was formulated based on environmental concerns under Article 48A of the Constitution of India. But, Your Excellency, the council would humbly submit that the act of the respondent for upholding the directive principle of state policies by stabbing upon the fundamental rights of the individuals cannot be held maintainable. Since when both the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy are in conflict with each other, the doctrine of balancing of competing rights comes into play. In the case of Minerva Mills Limited, this is Union of India, and Sanjeev Coke Manufacturing Company, which is MS Bharat Cooking Coal Limited, the apex court has applied the theory of balancing right and held that when a losing facet of constitution should not be eliminated in the entirety. Rather, both the competing rights should be balanced in such a way that both of them are given due. So, in the case when both the directive principles and the fundamental rights are in conflict, why don't the respondent inflict some alternative measures? Your Excellency, I would like to kindly cite the authority of the Delhi government report onto implementing alternative measures to curb air pollution. In the page 2 and 3 of my compendium, the Delhi government has implemented some alternative measures, such as implementation of battery-operated vehicles and such incidental measures. So, by implementing such measures, the Delhi government has notifiably brought down the levels of air pollution. So I would humbly sum up that the only possible solution for upholding the DPSP is not by infringing the fundamental rights. There are numerous other alternative remedies which the respondent could have sought. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Your
Counsel
Lordship,
from the side of respondent. Yes, yes. You have any sir rebuttal? Do you have any
yes.
sir rebuttal? Yes, yes. You may
Yes.
proceed. You have only 1 minute.
The council would like to seek permission to move on to the
Please
sir rebuttal.
proceed.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. As I've already mentioned that reasonable restrictions can be imposed on rights, that it is pertinent to note that none of the fundamental rights conferred under Article 14, 19 and 21 are absolute in nature. They can be reasonably restricted in accordance with law. And our reasonable classification between essential and non-essential goods and services sector with nexus to the object of achieving better public health by reducing threatening levels of air pollution is permissible in law. And moreover, the equality under Article 14 as mentioned by my opposition, that equality under Article 14 is not violated. I want to mention that because it is humbly a contention of the respondent that Article 14 elucidating equality is not being infringed. According to the test of reasonable classification, this test permitting reasonable classification was laid down in the state of West Bengal versus Anwar Ali Sarkar. It states that the constitutionality of legislation is determined based on two principles, that is intangible differentia and the rational nexus to the object which is sought to be achieved. The expression differentia means difference capable
Counsel,
of.
thank
You
you.
can stop, counsel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your ladyship, do you have any question from the participants?
No, I have no questions now.
Okay, thank you. Participants, you may leave the room now.
All
It
the
was much
best.
pleasure arguing before you, Excellency. Thank you.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Thank you.
This is the Honorable High Court of Wakanda in the present case of P205 versus R60. Petitioner counsel, you can begin with your arguments before Honorable Your Ladyship.
May it please your Honorable Court, I am appearing for the petitioner, Fundamental Liberties Group. In the matter, Fundamental Liberties Group was a state of Wakanda and others. The Council seeks the permission of the Honorable Court to present the brief facts of the case before this Honorable Court.
Yes, please. Make it very brief. Thank you.
Much obliged. The Fundamental Liberty Group is a registered organization which upholding the fundamental liberties of the citizens. In the present case, in the state of Wakanda, there is a huge risk of air pollution. For the sake of reducing the air pollution, the state of Wakanda introduced the policy, Green Wakanda policy. By the Green Wakanda policy, they put an restriction to the private vehicles. They can move in only to 10 days in a month, and they given an annexure B, which contains the list of the essential communities, that is, which are exempted from the Green Wakanda policy. After the introducing Green Wakanda policy, it goes on well. After that, the Chief Minister of State of Wakanda has decided to extend for the he has made the extension for the 2 years. For the 2 years, the citizens of Wakanda opposes the policy for the extension of 2 years because of their fundamental liberties are violated, and therefore the Fundamental Liberties Group is filed a petition before this Honorable Court to challenge the extension of the policy. If the Honorable Court is well versed with the facts, the Council seeks the permission to present the issues of the cases.
Please do.
Issues involved in the case. Much obliged. the first issue in this case is whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the Honorable High Court of Wakanda. And the second issue is whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. The council seeks the permission of the Honorable Court to present the argument of the issue number 1.
Yes, please.
Much obliged. It is most humbly submitted before this Honorable Court. The petition filed by the Fundamental Liberty Group is maintainable. The reason to state the petition is maintainable are as following. The first reason is the Green Wakanda policy is provided an Annexure B, which allows the communities or which allows the persons to exempt from the work from home policy, and this is the clear violation of the Article 14, because in the classification made by the government of Wakanda, there is no rational nexus and intelligible differentia. Therefore, it is clearly goes to shows that Article 14 is violated, and then the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is putting an unreasonable restrictions on the citizens of the Wakanda as per the Article 19(1)(g), which deals with the right to move freely throughout the Article 1(d), which deals with the right to move freely throughout the territory of country, and the restriction provided in the Green Wakanda policy is violating this fundamental right also, ma'am. And the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is also putting on the restrictions on the business and occupation of the non-essential community, which violates the rights to carry their occupation, trade, and business provided in the Article 19(1)(g) is violating, ma'am. And in the case of Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India, reported in the All India Reporter for 1978, Supreme Court at page 597, it is held that if a law depriving a person's personal liberty and prescribing a procedure for that purpose within the meaning of Article 21 has to stand the test, one or more fundamental rights conferred under Article 19, which may be applicable as given in a situation, as ex hypothesis, it must also be tested with the Article 14. As per this, in the present scenario, the citizens of the Wakanda's right to move freely and right to carry out business and trade, and Article 14, there is a discrimination. So for that reason, there is a clear violation of Article 21 also. As per the clause 2 of Article 13, clause 2 of Article 13 clearly shows that if any law made after the commencement of the Constitution, if there is any violation of any part of the fundamental rights, that law is said to be void as per the Article 13 clause 2. So therefore, as per the following reasons, the council humbly prays before this honorable court, as being aforesaid reasons, there is a clear violation of fundamental rights. Therefore, the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable. The council seeks the permission of the court. If the honorable lady lordship is satisfied with the argument of the issue number 1, the council move on to the issue number 2.
Can I ask you one question and then you move on to question number 2? And I would request for a quick reply on this. Can you explain me what is intelligible differentia?
Intelligible differentia is what is the object sought to be what is the object is obtained by a reasonable classification, that is an intelligible differentia. If a government want to make a law, that should be if the government makes to law on the basis of they want to make differentiation or a classification, they have to apply the they have to apply the intelligible differentia and rational nexus. Therefore, the objects ought to be there cannot be any discrimination.
All right. Please move ahead to the second issue.
Much obliged, Your Honor. The second issue is whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. It stated before this honorable court that the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally not valid as for the following reasons. The first reason to state that the policy is violating the Article 14, Article 19(1)(d), Article 19(1)(g), and Article 21, as they are all fundamental rights of the Constitution. The government cannot violate those rights of the people of state of Wakanda. The policy is extended for the period of 2 years. The extension is unreasonable and arbitrary. There is no intelligible differentia and rational nexus. The sought to be they are get to. Sorry, the policy is against the Stockholm Declaration, which is adopted by the Republic of Gotham, and the Principle 8 of Rio Declaration. It is stated that active sustainable development and high quality of life for all peoples state should reduce and eliminate unsustainable pattern of production and consumption. In the case of K. Guru Prasad Rao versus State of Karnataka, reported in 2013, Volume 8, Supreme Court Cases, at page 418, the appellant is an advocate, filed an PIL for praying the cancellation of the mining lease granted to the respondent and stopping the mining within the radius of 1 kilometer from the Jambunatheshwara temple. The court explained the ambit and scope of the intergenerational equity and sustainable development. Sustainable development includes preservation and protection of historical monuments, wealth of the future generation, and right to development includes the whole spectrum of the civil and cultural, economic, political, and social process for the improvement of the people's well-being and realization of their full potential. In the case of Citizens, Consumers, and Civil Action Group versus Union of India, the court observed while the court have social accountability in the matter of protection of environment, there should be a proper balance between the same and in the development activities where they are both are essential for the progress. In the case of Intellectual Forms versus State of AP, reported in 2006, Volume 3, Supreme Court.
Counsel, time is up.
Counsel, you can stop. I have one question from you. The Stockholm Declaration that you're talking about, which policy of it or which specific portion of it is the one which has been adopted and is in consonance with the present matter in issue? Are you aware of it or not?
Sorry.
The Stockholm Declaration that you have mentioned that the Gotham city has adopted. So this the Stockholm Declaration, the declaration is a vast term. Which policy of it is specific to the matter in issue in which we are presently today?
In the Stockholm Declaration, there is provided that there should be they have to maintain between the environment and development. They have to maintain the balance between the environment and development activities.
All right.
Sorry, ma'am, for the particular principle is not known.
All right, it's okay. Thank you so much.
Can I go to prayer, ma'am?
No, you don't have to. It's okay.
Counsel, your time
is up.
Your time is up.
Yeah. Thank you, Counsel.
Thank you so much.
Counsel, from the side of respondent, you may start with your arguments.
Thank you. The counsel extends its greetings and regards to the honorable bench. The counsel seeks the permission of the honorable bench to address this bench as your ladyship or lordship, if you may.
As you please move forward.
Thank you, ma'am. As you facts of the issue, facts of the case, may the counsel move on with the jurisdiction.
Yeah, you may start with the jurisdiction then.
My lord, by virtue of Article 226 of the Constitution of Gotham, the Honorable High Court has the power throughout its territories to issue writs, orders, and directions and review different policies enacted or implemented by the government. That is the jurisdiction, my lord, by virtue of Article 226 of the Constitution. With your permission, may I move on to my arguments.
Yes, please.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, at the very outset of my arguments, I would like to quote the famous American novelist and poet, Wendy Berry. He said, "Earth is what we all have in common, my lord." The first issue is regarding the maintainability of the petition. My lord, a petition may be entertained by this court only if there is a prima facie violation of the fundamental rights guaranteed to the citizens. By virtue of Article 226 of the Constitution of Gotham, though the Honorable High Court has been empowered throughout its territories to issue writs, orders, and directions, and if the Lordship may refer to Narmada Bachchan Andolan versus Union of India, cited as 2 on page
You don't need to give
313 of the
citation.
memorandum.
You don't need to give
Sorry,
citation.
ma'am.
Please move ahead. No citation, move ahead.
Okay. It is, as per the case Narmada Bachchan Andolan versus Union of India, it is now well settled that the courts in exercise of their jurisdiction will not transgress into the field of policy making. The court, no doubt, has a duty to see that in the undertaking of a decision, no law is violated and fundamental rights are not transgressed upon except to the extent permissible under the Constitution. The same has been reiterated by the courts in Parison Agrotech Limited versus Union of India, Balco Employees Union versus Union of India, cited as 3 and 5 on page 15 of the memorandum. My lord, therefore the scope of judicial inquiry is confined to the question whether the decision taken by the government is against any statutory provision or it violates the fundamental rights of the citizen or is opposed to the provisions of the Constitution of Gotham. My lord. Hereby, the respondents most humbly submit that there is no violation of the fundamental rights, and if any, it is well within the reasonable restrictions prescribed in the Constitution itself, and therefore the petition is not maintainable, my lord. The second issue is whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. The second issue is divided into 5 sub-issues in a memorandum, but due to lack of time, the council seeks permission to address the same as one issue in his oral submission, my lord.
Please do.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, the environment is as old as the evolution of humans on the planet, my lord. The council would like to emphasize on a few facts before he moves on to the arguments. These facts form the crux of the Green Wakanda policy and its objectives, my lord. The ever-worsening situation in Wakanda can be tracked to a number of reasons, from which the most concerning issue was of vehicular pollution. Under the policy, the Wakanda state government aims to reduce vehicular pollution and thus drastically improve the air quality of the state. This move by the Wakanda state government has provided for due exceptions for individuals, and the details of the same has been given in Annexure B of the Statement of Facts. My lords, coming to Article 21, which states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to a procedure established by law. If you may refer to footnote 15 on page 18 of the memorandum, my lords, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, while uploading the validity of Bhopal Gas Leak Disaster Act 1985, held that in the context of a national dimension of human rights, the right to life and liberty, free air and water is guaranteed by the Constitution under Article 21. It is also held by the Honorable Apex Court, if you refer to footnote 17 on page 18, that environmental situation has to be treated as an emergency situation. If your lordship may refer to para 11 on page 21 of the memorandum, the air quality index is the index which is based on the concentration of just 5 pollutants, my lord. The index is calculated on the concentration of ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matters of diameter less than 2.5 and 10. My lord, an air quality index between 0 and 50 is good. A level between 51 and 100 is acceptable, but 201 to 300, the air is judged to be very unhealthy, and children and people with heart or lung condition should avoid the outdoors, and others should reduce their outdoor exertions. The situation is so bad. When the air quality index exceeds 300, it is hazardous, and the government may prompt emergency conditions in the state. The respondents point out that on 1st January 2020, the air quality index in the state of Wakanda was 445, my lord. The air quality index does not alone establish the quality of air, my lord. the air quality index has been brought down to a mere 70 in just 1 month, and the petitioners contend that the extending of Green Wakanda policy for 2 years is unreasonable. My lord, due to extensive pollution from the past several decades, other environmental issues which are of a main consequence of air pollution has to be addressed, like global warming, acid rain, smog, ozone depletion, and so on, which can only be dealt with strict restrictions over such a long time, my lord. Thereby, the Green Wakanda policy is not a violation of Article 21 of the Constitution, but the implementation of a policy like the Green Wakanda policy itself is a right guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution, and it is a duty on the respondents to fulfill the same, my lord. Coming to the alleged violation of freedoms guaranteed under Article 19, Clause 1B and G, which guarantees to every citizen freedom of movement and freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business. My lords, the Green Wakanda policy just put restrictions upon the number of days an individual may use their motor vehicle to commute. The policy encourages, ma'am, I emphasize on the word, encourages the citizens of Wakanda to use environmental friendly means of transport like bicycling, carpooling, public transport, etc. and only use the motor vehicles when absolutely necessary. In order to facilitate the same, the Wakanda government has made efforts to increase the public transport facilities, my lord. And hereby, the respondents submit that the policy does not curtail anyone's freedom of movement. My lord, then the policy encourages all employers to facilitate work from home for employees who cannot avail such environmental friendly means of transport. The policy does not mandate it, the policy encourages. And here, the respondents submit that the policy does not curtail anyone's freedom of employment either. My lord, if you may refer to footnote 34 on page 26, the restrictions imposed by the Green Wakanda policy is reasonable as it has already been held by the Supreme Court in Krishnan Kakad versus Government of Kerala that a restriction in public interest cannot be said to be unreasonable merely because in a given case, my lord, council's extension of 2 minutes, please.
I give an extension of a minute. Please brief it up.
Thank you, ma'am. My lord, the Green Wakanda policy is not in consonance with one policy, but 5 different policies prescribed as directive principles of state policy in the Constitution of Gotham, namely 39E, 41, 42, 47, 48, and 49. My lord, the Green Wakanda policy is introduced in exercise of the powers conferred by Section 115 of the Motor Vehicles Act 1988, and the same is reiterated by Section 19 of the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1918, which empowers the government to declare restrictions to declare air pollution control areas, my lord. The constitutionality of the Green Wakanda policy hasn't been challenged by the petitioners, my lord. I repeat that the constitutionality of the Green Wakanda policy hasn't been challenged by the petitioners. There is no doubt that the Green Wakanda policy is constitutional. The question is whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutional, my lord. My lord, if a policy is not in violation of the fundamental rights and if it has been established following a due procedure of law, the time it stays in effect so as to fulfill the objectives of the policy is to be decided by the government as it falls under the effectiveness of the policy. If the court may refer to para 4 on page 13, continued on page 14, and refer to citation number 3 and on page 14.
You may stop.
The Supreme Court, my lord, I'm concluding.
All right, okay.
May I conclude now?
Yeah.
The Supreme Court has held that the views on the efficacy of such government policy may differ since the policy decisions are taken based on expert knowledge and the courts are not normally equipped to question the correctness of the same law. And
will kindly conclude.
Yes. And the council moves on to its prayer.
No need. You must stop.
Council, your ladyship has taken it into account. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You may start with the rebuttal.
Council, you have any rebuttal? Can you please unmute yourself? I have given you the notification.
Yes, sir.
You have any rebuttal?
Audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. You may proceed with your rebuttals.
The respondent Advocate General stating that there is within the ambit of the reasonable restriction, therefore there is any fundamental rights are violated. But uh, if uh, if there is any policy that should be in accordance with the principle of sustainable development, so therefore there should be an balance between the environment and development policies. And the council want to say article 39C states that the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of the wealth means of production to the common detriment. According to this, they from the Green Wakanda policy, there is a clear concentration of the wealth who are working in the essential community, and who are working in the non-essential community, there is no option for them to earn. So therefore there is a clear violation of the fundamental rights. Thank you, ma'am.
Counsel, from the side of respondent, you have any rebuttal?
Yes, I do.
Yes, please proceed. You have only 1 minute. Try to be short.
Thank you. My Lord, the Learned Counsel for the petitioners talked about sustainable development. My Lord, the question the respondent would like to ask is that if a person doesn't have clean air to breathe, if he's going to be hospitalized, his children can't attend schools, people are not allowed to exit their homes, and if it comes to such a situation, how is there going to be any development in the first place, my Lord? Sustainable development comes when there's a stable society, and the issue of air pollution unstabilizes the whole society, my Lord. And the Learned Counsel for the petitioners noted out that many stakeholders, including industrialists and businessmen from non-essential goods and services sector, oppose the policy because it affects them so badly. My Lordship, if you may refer to Annexure B, 4H and 5. Annexure B, 4H states that the Green Wakanda policy accepts cold storage and warehouse services. Warehouse services includes receiving, put away, storage, picking, packing, and shipping, my Lord. And 5 talks about industrial establishments, including.
Counsel, your time is up. Your Ladyship, do you have any question from the participants?
No, thank you.
Participants, thank you for joining us. You may leave the room.
Thank you.
Your Ladyship, this is the Honorable High Court of Wakanda in the present case of P435 versus R200. Petitioner Counsel, you can begin with your arguments. Petitioner, are we audible to you? I think that I'm not audible to him. P435, are we audible to you? R200, are we audible to you, right? We are audible to you.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Please keep yourself now on mute.
Okay.
Shreyash, drop a message to leave and rejoin. This Aryam and this idea certainly came out of my mind कि ये gallery view में रखने से ना क्या होगा कि everyone will be able to see it. तो आसानी हो जाएगी. Yeah, yes. P435, are we audible to you?
Hello.
I am Shreyash. Message.
Hello.
P435, kindly plug in the wire more tightly, maybe, because you are audible to us, but maybe we are not audible to you. He's not reacting. We are not audible. No.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
You are audible to us. Are we audible to you?
Yes, I have on speaker, but I cannot hear you.
Okay.
So how are you responding?
Right now, you.
Yeah, I cannot hear you people.
Achha,
Earphone?
Do it now. Put it on Zoom chat. Write him on Zoom chat.
Okay, wait.
Mosam text him
Now let
to
me check,
exit
okay?
and join again.
I have done it. He is not reading the chats.
Oh,
It's already
That's
done.
what I'm saying. Write it on Zoom chat instead. He
Ma'am,
may
it's
hear
done.
that.
It's already done. Like,
Hello? Hello?
bol. Are we audible? Are we
Hello?
audible by any chance?
He's not hearing now also.
Oh.
Hello?
Shreyas, ask him to exit this meeting room and then enter it again. Ask him to leave it, like say bata de, like niche right mein, in the lower right corner there is a leave button. He can leave the meeting and then he can join us again. Call jaldi kar.
yeah, 1 second. I think this will be more better. I am.
हाँ good.
हो गया
No
हो गया
problem.
हो गया
उसे group
यही बेटर है.
इस
इसको हटा दो, ये रिजॉइन करने की कोशिश करेगा ही.
Any issue, Ariman?
No, we are trying to sort it out. Connectivity
What
issues
happened?
from the other side.
Connectivity.
Okay.
I'm sorry for this interruption
No
and
problem.
inconvenience.
No problem.
It's actually being a part of our life nowadays.
Yes. And so are Zoom calls. It's okay.
Like it's been connecting, reconnecting. Certainly,
Yeah.
sometimes we feel that even we are talking to our relatives, they will say, "भाई क्या है तुम्हारे
Oh,
वहाँ?"
connection nahi ho raha.
Exactly.
Shreyas tried to call. अच्छा ठीक है नहीं इसका आगे group पे reply. He'll probably join.
I have admitted P435, but लेकिन
Hopefully नहीं, let us wait.
once I have admitted him, उसने फिर दोबारा rejoin कर लिया है, मतलब छोड़ दिया है. हाँ, he is within. Is it odd? एक मिनट
Wait.
connect होना. P435, is it audible to you?
तो वीडियो भी ऑन नहीं है.
रिक्वेस्ट भेज दिया है मैंने वीडियो ऑन करने का.
Let me just call him.
Hello, is it audible?
Yes, you are audible. Are we audible to you?
Yes, now it is audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, still it's urgency of time. We are running short of time. So
Yes.
can we skip all that entire procedure and directly proceed towards the proceeding?
Yes. You may start with your arguments.
Yes. P435, please start with your arguments.
Okay, thank you, Your Lordship. I appear here on behalf of petitioners. The issue before this Honorable High Court of Wakanda is that whether the petition filed by Fundamental Liberties Group, a registered society, is maintainable in the Honorable High Court of Wakanda. I humbly submit that the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintained in the High Court of Wakanda under Article 226 of the Constitution of Republic of Gotham. Now, the sub-issues under this issue is that whether the petition can be filed against the state. It is humbly submitted that a petition can be filed against the state under Article 226. It has been held in the case of Adele Singh and others versus Karan Singh that the Article 226. In Article 226, the court exercises its jurisdiction for two purposes. First one is for the enforcement of fundamental rights, and second one is for any other purpose. Now, the existence of any alternative remedy is not a bar to file the petition, because the remedy under Article 226 of the Constitution is a discretionary remedy. The court is vested with the power to entertain the petition where there occurs any misuse of justice, and the High Court has jurisdiction to entertain the petition under Article 226. Your Lordship, the second issue with the case was whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. I humbly submit before this court that the existence of the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is not constitutionally valid. It is the violation of Article 13, 14, 19, and 21 of the Constitution of Republic of Gotham. It has violated the Article 21 of the Constitution of Gotham, which says that it is the violation of right to personal liberty. Article 21 states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Now, the personal liberty means the freedom of the individual to choose. Here, the state government of Wakanda has restricted its citizens to use the vehicles only 10 days in a month. It is the violation of Article 21. It has been held in Francis Coralie Moulin versus the Administrator, Union Territory of Delhi, and others. No one can deprive of his life or personal liberty except by the procedure established by law. And this procedure must be reasonable, fair, and just, not arbitrary, whimsical, or fanciful. Your Lordship, next one is there is violation of right to move freely throughout the territory of India. The state government, by extending the Green Wakanda policy into 2 years, has violated the fundamental rights under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D. It restricted the traveling of citizens. Initially, the restriction was success because we need to curb the air pollution, but to extent after the air pollution has been decreased to a moderate level is no cause and it has no relevance. Now there is the violation of right to carry on business and trade because the Green Wakanda policy has restricted the non-essential goods and service sector from traveling while it included the essential goods and services sector. Now there is violation of equality before law under Article 14 because it states that the state shall not violate the equality before law or the equal protection of laws within the territory of Gotham. And the right to equality is one of the basic features of the Constitution. It has been held in Indira Sahni versus Union of India. Now, under Article 13 of the Constitution of Gotham, the state cannot make laws which are inconsistent with the fundamental rights. It is enumerated in Article 13, Subclause 2, that state shall not make any laws which takes or abridges the fundamental rights of the citizens or any law made in contravention to the fundamental rights. And if it is made in contravention, to the extent of contravention, it shall be void. Now, coming to the reasonable restrictions, which the respondent has stated, it is not reasonable restrictions. Reasonable restrictions under Article 19, Clause 2 can be inserted by the sovereignty and integrity of India in case if there is public order, morality, defamation, or the friendly relations with other states has been curbed, or there is an external aggression of war. And there is no interest of general public because the state government of Wakanda has only taken upon their own discretion and they has not considered the interest of general public. Now, Your Lordship, I humbly pray in this court that the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in this Honorable High Court, and the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is not constitutionally valid, and the court may pass any decree or any order which may deem so fit.
All right. So I have a question for you with respect to the freedom of movement. So the freedom of movement has been provided under Article 19, but with specific subclause. The same has been missed out in your memo as well. So can you please tell me which is the specific subclause to the article of restraining the freedom of movement?
Freedom of movement is the Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D. Freedom of movement. And the state government of Wakanda has restricted the freedom of movement by restricting the vehicles 10 days in a month.
So the reasonable restriction which is there as a protocol, so the policy which they have given and allowed the movement in a restrictive manner, does it not fall under the reasonable restrictions?
No, for reasonable restrictions, there shall be two prerequisites. First one is intelligible differentia, which means that if the state government need to classify one, it should be different from other. Here in this one, non-essential goods and service sector, essential goods and service sector, both are in the goods and service sector. There is no difference between them. And the reasonable classification should be based on rational relations, and which sought to achieve the object by the state government. Here, the object has been achieved in the previous Green Wakanda policy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We can go forward with the respondent, please.
Can I start your leadership? May I proceed on with my arguments?
Yes, please proceed. Please proceed and proceed with the arguments directly.
Okay. The respondent humbly submits that in the present case, the extension of Green Wakanda policy amounts to a reasonable restriction, as it is done in order to curb the vehicular pollution, which is a major cause of air pollution, and which in turn would improve the public health. The council would like to direct the court side to the case of Indian Handicrafts Emporium versus Union of India, where it was held that the reasonableness of a restriction is to be judged by the evil or the social interest that is to be sought, and
I can't listen.
Kindly unmute yourself, R200.
Yeah.
Mosam, even you are muted.
On mute, yeah.
I have asked you to unmute R200.
Okay. Sorry for the
inconvenience. You may repeat from the last language you were
yes.
speaking, please.
In this same Indian Handicrafts Emporium versus Union of India, it was held that if any restriction is placed on the fundamental rights listed in Article 19 clause 1 clause A to G, if any restriction is part 4 of the Constitution, that is a part of directive principles of state policy, it is to be held as a reasonable restriction. And in the case of State of Gujarat versus Mirzapur Moti Kasab Jamaat, it was held that the interest of community as a whole is to be given preference over the interest of a certain section of citizens or an individual citizen. And it was also held that a reasonable restriction can be held as reasonable if it comes under Part 4 of the Constitution. For applying these judgments to the present case, the extension of Green Wakanda policy was done to curb air pollution and to improve public health. And as stated in para 4 of the proposition, only the people who are working in the non-essential goods and services and sector are not satisfied with this policy. So the interest of public as a whole is to be given preference over the interest of certain section of the community. Moving on your ladyship, it was held that in State of Madras V.G. Rao, the restriction can be held as reasonable if it has reasonable nexus with the object of the act, object of the evil it sought to fight out. In this case, there's a very clear reasonable nexus, because the object that the state government has to sort is to improve public health and to decrease the air pollution. And so to decrease the air pollution, it has extended the Green Wakanda policy. The respondent, moving on to my second sub-issue, the judiciary cannot interfere with these state policies unless it is arbitrary. This was mentioned in the case of Monarch Infrastructure Private Limited versus the Commissioner Ulhas Nagar Corporation. Unless it is done with a malafide intention or it is arbitrary, the judiciary cannot interfere with the government policy. And in State of Tamil Nadu educational departments versus the State of Tamil Nadu, it was held that even though there might arise a few hardships might arise on the citizens of the state, unless the policy is arbitrary and it doesn't have reasonable nexus, it can't be it can't be intervened by the judiciary. Moving on to my final sub issue, in Janata Dal versus H.S. Chowdhury, it was held that a petitioner can move to the High Court or can file a public interest litigation petition only when fundamental right is violated. As we have seen in the aforementioned arguments, there has been no violation of fundamental rights, but only reasonable restrictions have been placed on them. If your ladyship is convinced with my first issue, shall I move to my second issue?
Yes, and please make it concise.
Much obliged, your ladyship. Second issue, my second sub issue of my second issue is right to health and right to breathe clean air is also mentioned under Article 21 in Arjun Das versus Arjun Chand versus Union of India. It was held that any commercial interest should not be given priority over the health of the citizens of New Delhi. And in Subhash Kumar versus State of Bihar, it was held that right to clean air is a right enshrined under the right to life. So, and the air quality index shows that there has been a deterioration of air quality, and after the implementation of Green Wakanda policy, there has been an increase. So the act is constitutionally valid. My last sub issue is environmental principles and fundamental duty on the part of the citizens. In the case of MRF Limited versus the Inspector Kerala government, it was held that if any restriction has a reasonable nexus with the scope of object to be achieved, and it is held to be a reasonable restriction, and it is the constitutionality of the act will naturally be presumed by the court of law. And finally, in rural litigation and enlightenment Kendra versus State of UP, it was held that the responsibility to take care to prevent the deterioration of the environment does not alone lie on the government, also lies on every citizen of Gotham, which is enshrined under Article 51A Clause G of the Gotham Constitution. May I move on to my prayer, your ladyship?
No, thank you. The prayer is not to be repeated. I have two questions for you. The first question being the fact that this law or this policy which has come out with your government, this has been only very specific to the vehicular movement. So to that effect, only the constitution comes into play, or is there a special act which also comes into the play with respect to the vehicular movement?
Motor Vehicles Act and Air Pollution Act are the acts which specifically deal with air pollution, motor vehicular pollution, and emissions.
So in Motor Vehicles Act, is there any specific provision which talks about and which gives the state the authority to be restrictive or to restrain the movement of vehicles on any of the grounds?
The council pleads your ignorance, your ladyship.
All right. Well, for your knowledge, it is section 115 which does so of your Motor Vehicles Act. You can read it later. The second question which I have for you is with respect to the fundamental duty which you have put forward in front of me. Are the fundamental duty restrained in the Constitution of the India mandatorily to be applicable to every citizen, or it is a guideline which is supposed to be followed and it is not mandatorily, the court cannot impose that duty to be followed on any citizen?
The court cannot impose any fundamental right on any citizen, but it is still enshrined in our constitution, but it is a duty of every citizen to follow it and for the betterment of our nation.
All right. Thank you so much. We may go for the rebuttal.
It was a pleasure arguing before you, your ladyship.
Thank you so much.
Council
May I go for the rebuttal?
Yes. Proceed.
Okay. The respondent said that only the non-essential goods and service sector has an issue with this policy. It is clearly mentioned in the moot proposition that the businessman and other sector also has a problem with this Green Wakanda policy extension. Only the environmentalist has supported the policy, and the state government of Wakanda cannot make rules for the environmental protection. It has separate act in which central government has the authority. The act is the Environment Protection Act, It is mentioned in section 25 of the Act. So this your leadership. So the respondents claim that the state government can make rules regarding the environmental protection cannot be claimed. Your leadership.
May I start my rebuttal your leadership?
Yes, you may please.
As said by the petitioner, the counsel of the petitioner, the businessmen are affected. The respondent counsel is not denying that, but still, as it is mentioned in the state of Gujarat versus Mirzapur Moti Kasab Jamaat, the interest of community as a whole is to be given preference, and the interest of certain sections of the people in the community. So, and there is a power. 1 minute, your leadership. Even these by using the AIR Act, the state government has the power to make rules. The state government has the power to make rules with the guidelines of the State Pollution Control Board, your leadership. That's it. That's the end of my
Thank you, Counsel.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Participants, you may leave the room. Thank you.
We're good to go to start.
Your leadership, High Court of Wakanda in the present case of P485 versus R330. Counsel from the side of petitioner, you can begin with the arguments.
Petitioner, kindly begin with your arguments.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was not audible.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, my lords.
Good
I am
afternoon.
the counsel for the petitioners in the case of Fundamental Liberties Group versus the state of Wakanda. With my lord's permission, I would like to enumerate the facts.
Yes, you can. Please make it very brief.
Much obliged, my lords. In order to curb the growing menace of air pollution, my lords, the government introduced the Green Wakanda policy in the month of January 2020. My lords, the policy aims to reduce vehicular pollution. The restrictions put upon the number of days of an individual to use their vehicles to commute is for 10 days, my lords. My lords, it was with the astounding results of the policy, the government decided to expand the application of the policy from 1 month to a gigantic period of 2 years, my lords, which is impugned before this honorable court. My lords, the exceptions to the restrictions placed is for the people connected with the essential services, my lords. If my lords is okay with the facts, the council seeks permission to advance the arguments.
Please.
Much obliged, my lords. My lords, the first issue, whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the High Court of Wakanda. My lords, ordinarily the jurisprudence of Article 226 permits the aggrieved party to approach this honorable court. But in cases of public interest, the rule has been relaxed, and any member of public can maintain an appropriate application before this honorable court for the enforcement of rights enshrined under Part 3 of the Constitution. My lords, articulating the same concept, Justice P.N. Bhagwati in S.P. Gupta versus Union of India, my lords may refer to page 1 of my memorial. Held, and I quote, it may now therefore be taken as well established that where a legal wrong or a legal injury is caused to a person or to a determinate class of persons by reason of violation of any constitutional or legal right, or any burden is imposed in contravention of any constitutional or legal provision or without authority of law, or any such legal wrong or legal injury or illegal burden is threatened, and such person or determinate class of persons by reason of poverty, helplessness, or disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged position, unable to approach this honorable court for relief, any member of public, your lordships may kindly appreciate, can maintain an application for an appropriate direction, order, or writ in the High Court under Article 226. Therefore, my lords, the jurisdiction under Article 2.2 is undisputed before the Honorable Court. My lords, coming to the rule of locus standi, it has been relaxed in cases of public interest. In People's Union for Democratic Rights versus Union of India, my lords may refer to page 2 of the memorial. The Honorable Supreme Court has held public interest litigation or social interest litigation at the instance of public spirited person for the enforcement of constitution and legal rights of any person or group of persons.
To not make references to the memo. You may please go with the flow of arguments as it is.
Much obliged.
And I would also request you to not read it directly from the memo, please. Thank you.
Okay, my lords. My lords, the rule of locus standi has been relaxed in cases of public interest, referring to cases of public Union for Democratic Rights versus Union of India. Further, also DC Wadhwa versus State of Bihar, my lords. My lords, coming to the power of this Honorable Court under the ambit of judicial review, though the jurisdiction of this Honorable Court in administrative actions is limited, nevertheless, it is within the contours of power conferred upon this Honorable Court. My lords, the grounds of challenge to an administrative action has been aptly discussed in Tata Cellular versus Union of India. My lords, the operative portion is mentioned on page 3 and 4 of the memorial. The three grounds which are enumerated in the judgment: first, illegality; second, my lords, irrationality, namely Wednesbury unreasonableness; third, my lords, procedural impropriety; and the fourth ground, which was also recognized by the Honorable Supreme Court, is of the doctrine of proportionality, my lords. Therefore, my lords, a challenge thrown upon an executive decision on these four grounds is unquestionably maintainable before this Honorable Court and within the powers of this Honorable Court. If my lord is satisfied with the first issue, the council seeks permission to advance argument on the second issue.
Can I ask you one question with respect to first issue first?
Of course, my lords.
Can you explain me the term which you've mentioned, procedural impropriety?
My lords, procedural impropriety means wherein procedures that ought to be taken during a decision taken by the government are not taken properly.
Simpliciter meaning. All right. You may move ahead.
Much obliged, my lords. My lords, coming to the second issue, whether the extension of Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. My lords, we are challenging. I am challenging the extension on two grounds, namely the Wednesbury unreasonableness and the doctrine of proportionality. My lords, coming to the question of to the principle of Wednesbury reasonableness, my lords, an administrative decision which reeks of irrationality, namely the Wednesbury unreasonableness, can be held to be ultra-vires by this Honorable. Now, my lords, what do we mean by irrationality? It has been aptly discussed by Lord Diplock in the case of CCSU versus Minister of Civil Services, my lords, Court of Appeals, Great Britain. My lords, it means a decision so outrageous as to be in total defiance of logic and moral accepted moral standards. My lords, in the present, suffice to mention the dictum laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court in Rameshwar Prasad versus Union of India also, my lords, that has been quoted on page number 6, wherein the Honorable Supreme Court discussed the scope, the correct understanding, I beg your pardon, of the doctrine, and held that first, it is based on wholly a decision which can be said to be suffer from Wednesbury unreasonableness. First of all, it is based on a wholly irrelevant material or wholly irrelevant consideration. Second, it has ignored a very relevant material which it should have taken into consideration. My lords may kindly appreciate. Third, it is so absurd that no sensible person could have ever reached to. My lords, in the present case, as can be discerned from the facts, the government introduced the policy in the month of January, when the air quality index was 445, my lords. My lords, after a period of 1 month, the policy being invoked, the results were astounding, and my lords, the air quality index improved to 70, which is considered to be healthy. But my lords, this thing the government has failed to take into consideration while extending the Green Wakanda policy for a gigantic period of 2 years, my lords. Further, my lords, it is glaring in view of the facts that the government has also taken a decision which is so absurd that no sensible person could have reached to it, my lords, by extending it for a period of 2 years, my lords. My lords, coming to the doctrine of proportionality, My lords, it is a vital part of the administrative law, and a decision challenged on the basis of it being against the doctrine of proportionality can also be held to be ultra vires by this honorable court. My lords, the recognition to this doctrine was given in Om Kumar versus Union of India. The operative portion is quoted on page 7 of the memorial. My lords, the doctrine of proportionality basically provides that the least restrictive measures should be taken to achieve the object sought to be achieved by an administrative action, and it should not be disproportionate. And if it deviates from the object or is discriminatory or disproportionate, it can be stricken down by this honorable court. My lords, in the present case, the object behind the decision is to curb the air pollution caused by vehicular movements. And as a corollary to that, to protect the right enshrined under Article 21, that is the right to safe environment. But at the same time, my lords, right to personal liberty is also enshrined under Article 21. Right to livelihood is also enshrined under Article 21. And to extend a policy as the present one for a gigantic period of 2 years is absolutely disproportionate, my lords. We could have understood if it would have been for 1 month, 2 months for emergency uses. But my lords, extending it for a period of 2 years, ignoring the rights enshrined under Part 3 of the Constitution, be it right to personal liberty, right to move freely throughout the territory, or be it the right to livelihood, my lords. The government has absolutely failed to take into consideration all these things and has disproportionately implemented the policy for a period of 2 years, my lords. That is the irony, my lords. If my lord is satisfied with the arguments, the council seeks permission to address the prayer, my lords.
It's all right. You don't need to address the prayer. We'll go to the next council.
I'm sorry, my lords.
You don't have to address the prayer. We'll go to the next council.
Okay. Much obliged.
Thank you.
Respondents Council, you can speak now. Respondent Council, you can speak now. 1 second. You have to first unmute yourself. I have sent the notification to you.
Shall I start, brother?
Yes. You may. Just be little bit loud.
May it please the honorable court, my lord. This is counsel on behalf of the respondent number 330. If you permit me, shall I proceed with the facts, my lord? Facts of the.
I am aware of the facts. We'll straight away go to the arguments.
Arguments. First, my lord, please let me tell the issues.
Yeah, you may proceed with the issues and then the arguments, please.
The first issue is whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the Honorable High Court of Wakanda. When we take that issue, my lord, the petition filed, the public interest litigation filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is actually not maintainable because according to Article 48 of the Indian Constitution, the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment. Then the policy published by the state government is actually correct only, my lord. The public interest litigation file is not maintainable. Next we can come to the Article 51A. That in 51A of Indian Constitution, it says that it is a duty of every citizen to protect the environment, to protect and improve the natural environment. That is including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, etc. Then, because the duty of the citizen is not followed here, the government has to take some steps in order to improve the society, improve the welfare of the people. Then we next go to the Article number 38, Class 1. It states that the state shall the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting. If you permit me, shall I go to the second issue, my lord?
Yes, you may proceed. You may proceed.
The second issue that is that whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid or not. The extension of this policy is actually constitutionally valid. When we take the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, it says that only the person shall not be deprived of public personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. But here, even though the personal liberty is being violated in some cases, it is an exception in Article 21 to follow the procedure established by law. Then we shall go to the Article number 42 of Indian Constitution. The state shall make provision for securing the human conditions of work. According to this article, it is constitutionally valid. Then state shall take steps to create human conditions for the work of the citizens. Then when we go to the Article number 162 of Indian Constitution, the state shall extend its matter with the legislature. The state has powers to make the laws. My lord, my arguments are finished, my lord. If you permit me,
yes.
If you permit me, shall I go to the next to the prayer, my lord?
Yes, you may.
In the light of the issues showed and the authorities stated, you may please give directions according which is fit and actually perfect, and state that this Green Wakanda policy is constitutionally valid. Thank you, Miller.
All right, we can start with the rebuttal.
Yes. Petitioner Counsel, do you have any rebuttal?
Yeah. My lords, first of all, the arguments advanced by my learned friend are wholly misconceived and non-sequitur. My lords, my learned friend says that the directive principles of state policy direct this. Of course, it directs it, but the same must confirm and run as a subsidiary to fundamental rights. Directive principles of state policy cannot override the fundamental rights. The same must be in conformity with the fundamental rights, which is sacrosanct. Further, my learned friend says that the duties of the citizens, nobody is disputing the question that it is a duty of the citizens to protect the environment. That is not the issue here. The issue here is whether the the decision impugned toward the extension of Green Wakanda policy is disproportionate and suffers from Wednesbury unreasonableness. My learned friend has not answered any of it. My friend further says that the extension of the Green Wakanda policy that the Article 162 provides, of course it provides for the state government to issue administrative orders. Nobody is disputing that. The government is entitled to issue administrative orders, but the same must be in conformity with the mandate of law, as has been discussed earlier. I have nothing else to say. I rest my case.
Respondent Counsel, if you have any rebuttal, you can begin.
First of all, it is actually the mistake done by the citizens, because of which the pollution problem arose, and the government has to take some initiative to reduce that problem. That's why they introduced Green Wakanda policy. As my friend counsel said that it is a duty of a citizen is not related here to the issue. But if each and every citizen were following their duties, there is no need for the state government to introduce some policies which are not accepted by the people.
Thank you, Respondent Counsel. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's all
okay,
right.
Fine.
But I have a request because of the special conditions with respect to the respondent. I would request her to start so that before we lose any signal, she's able to complete her part of arguments. Is that comfortable with you, R180, that we start with you instead of the petitioner?
It's fine. I'll start.
Yeah, please do that then. You may proceed. And you don't have to go with the facts. You may start directly with the issues and your arguments.
Thank you so much. The
Respondent counsel, you
council,
can begin. Yes.
thank you, sir. The council seeks permission to proceed with issue number 1.
Permission granted.
The first issue, that is of maintainability of this policy, is totally invalid on the terms that the fundamental rights Article 14, 19, 21 are violative. Article 14 is violative because there is no arbitrariness in this policy, as it is in the interest of public, and there is reasonable clarification that it is, since it is in the interest of public, therefore there is reasonable classification also. There is no discrimination, as we are a socialist state which says that discrimination cannot be granted on the grounds for sex, creed, religion, or place of birth. And out in this policy, it is clearly mentioned in the Annexure B of the moot proposition that there is no discrimination of these factors which are there. The only factors they have included in this moot proposition is of essential service and goods. They have been granted. Since we consider the present situation, COVID also, before this law, like before the lockdown, now the lockdown has opened, so that's why the people are moving out. But before this, there have been essential services exemption to the people who were included in essential services. Then I would, the further argument is that,
you may proceed, please.
Yes, I would. In the case of MC Mehta versus Union of India, it was held that the right to healthy environment, it was held that the government has the duty to provide healthy environment to the public. So as the Wakanda policy is considered so far, it is by restricting the vehicles, which is also mentioned that is one of the major causes of this, pollution, which is harming the public. Therefore, it is maintainable. I would now proceed. Thus, council seeks to proceed to issue number 2. Seeks permission. So issue number 2 is the constitutional validification of this policy. So I would first refer to the intergenerational equity principle, which says that every generation holds the earth and common member of present and the future generation. How is this policy not valid constitutionally? Because even if living right now, it's our duty to provide the same earth, or probably try to provide the same earth condition to the future generation. This is a policy. On this basis also, this is constitutionally valid. Then comes the UNESCO Declaration on the Responsibilities of the Present Generation, the 1997 UNESCO Act, Article 1 UNESCO Responsibility Declaration, where India also had participated as one of the countries to really enforce the principle of this environment issues. And after this UNESCO convention held at Stockholm, it was there that before and after there were many provisions that were taken into consideration for the environment. So this is the another point. Then comes the Environment Protection Act 1986. The preamble of this act itself defines that environment is very necessary part of the living. Violates Article 21. It does not violate Article 21 since Article 21 guarantees right to life with dignity. And with dignity, you can only live when you have a proper environment surroundings. And then Environment Protection 1986, Section 3 of that Act So say that power of central government to take measures to protect the environment, and under section 3 clause 1 it is clearly mentioned that the state government can coordinate with the central government to take the responsibilities of the environment. Then we come to the article 19 clause 6 subclause D, which is that, sorry, I would like to proceed to other article. The DPSPs which are enshrined in article in part 4 of the constitution. So article 48A was introduced by the 42nd amendment to really look afterwards, to look towards the environment that is there. As stated by B.N. Rao, that DPSPs are the moral precepts for the authorities of the age. Though they're not justiciable, but they are the principles for the state governments to form the law in interest of the public. I think that's it for the council is done with the argument, and I would like the honorable court to quash the writ of the petitioner filed by G and held this policy constitutional.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have one question for you with respect to the term that you have used, that intergenerational equity. Where
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
Constitution does this talk about intergenerational equity, or any case law which refers to the same?
Sorry, ma'am.
Right, thank you. We may proceed with the petitioner now. Thank you.
Petitioner counsel, you.
This is the counsel for petitioner. The counsel seeks permission to address this bench as your ladyship.
Yes,
The counsel would like to deal with the facts.
Yes, please, make it brief.
In January 2020, the introduction of the Green Wakanda policy in the state of Wakanda took place. Under this policy, individuals were only allowed to use their motor vehicles for 10 days in a month, and any deviation from same led to heavy fines. Individuals commuting from neighboring states for work were also subject to follow the rules of this policy. The policy encouraged use of environment-friendly means of transport such as bicycling, carpooling, using public transport, etc. Exemptions were provided to individuals involved in the procurement of the essential goods sector. The policy turned out to be a major success, and the comparative study of the Air Quality Index of Wakanda during January 2020 and January 2019 saw a major difference, and the air quality was much more improved in January 2020. On 8 February 2020, the Chief Minister of Wakanda, Mr. Ned Stark, announced the extension of policy for 2 years till January 22 or further notice. The rules of the policy remain same, and the government promised to improve the common transport facilities. The announcement created waves all across the country of Gotham. Some naturalists who were the major supporters of the policy, whereas many stakeholders from non-essential and service sectors opposed the policy. Many citizens also protested against the policy on grounds that the policy curbed their fundamental rights. The Fundamental Liberties Group filed a petition in the High Court of Wakanda favoring all the opposition that arose in the country after the extension of the policy. The Honorable High Court of Wakanda scheduled the hearing for 15th June. If your ladyship is satisfied with the facts, the council would like to deal with the statement of issues.
Yes, you may proceed.
The council will be dealing with 2 issues. Issue number 1 is whether the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable in the Honorable High Court of Wakanda. And issue number 2 is whether the extension of the Green Wakanda policy constitutionally valid. If your ladyship is satisfied with the statement of facts, the petitioner council would like to move forward with the issues.
Yes, please proceed.
The council would like to proceed with the issue number 1. it is humbly submitted before the Honorable High Court of Wakanda that the petition filed by the Fundamental Liberties Group is maintainable as the extension of the Green Wakanda policy infringes various fundamental rights of the citizens. Article 13 of the Constitution clearly provides that any law, act, or legislation that infringes the rights of the citizens, mainly the fundamental rights provided in the Part 3 of the Constitution, will be void ab initio. In the case of Goloknath versus State of Punjab, the Supreme Court held that if any law or legislation contravenes a fundamental right, it will be considered void ab initio. The policy infringes various fundamental rights of the citizens, such as Article 14, Article 19(1)(d), Article 19(1)(g), and even Article 21 of the Constitution of Gotham. Article 14 talks about equality before law and equal protection of laws. The government has allowed the essential goods workers and manufacturers exemptions from the policy and from following its provisions. But it is understandable that if this extension is further extended for 2 years, it is clearly discrimination, as it is quite understandable that the non-essential goods are also needed at some point of time. This discrimination not only infringes the fundamental rights of the non-essential goods workers and manufacturers, but also it will also lower down the rates of development in the state. Hence, the policy clearly violates the essence of Constitution by discriminating between essential goods workers and non-essential goods workers. The factories in the state will be at a complete standstill, which will cut off many workers from their daily income and will make it impossible for them to survive, hence infringing their right to livelihood. In the case of Olga Tellez versus Bombay Municipal Corporation, the court gave a landmark judgment and held that right to livelihood is equally important facet of right to life, as no person can survive without right to livelihood and the means for livelihood. The Article 19(1)(d) of the Constitution provides for the movement throughout the territory of Gotham. It provides the right to all the citizens that they have the freedom to move freely throughout the territory of Gotham. Now, since the policy is enforced, the citizens are not entitled to move freely, as some restrictions are put forth over them. These restrictions are overdone as per the requirements, as it's not just the vehicles that cause pollution, but many other factors, such as emissions from factories, be it governmental or non-governmental. All the citizens have the right to practice any profession of their choice and are also allowed to carry trade and business. This is provided in the Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of Gotham. The policy is causing hindrance for the citizens to practice profession of their own choice and conduct trade and business, as their commuting through their own vehicles is restricted, which sometimes results in delays and also hinders the quality of business practiced by them. The policy clearly violates the very soul and heart of the Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of Gotham as well. Hence, the petitioners plead before the court that the present petition is maintainable, as it is in the interest of the public at large, and the Green Wakanda policy infringes fundamental rights of the citizens. Hence, it must be held invalid, and the petition must be considered for further adjudication. If your ladyship is satisfied with the issue number 1, the council would like to move forward with issue number 2.
Yes, please.
It is most humbly submitted before the High Court of Wakanda that the Green Wakanda policy is unconstitutional, being violative of Article 14, Article 19(1)(d), Article 19(1)(g), and Article 21 of the Constitution of Gotham. Hence, its extension is unconstitutional. Article 14 of the Constitution of Gotham clearly states that there should be no discrimination among citizens on any grounds, and this is also backed by a landmark judgment that the court gave in the case of St. Stephen's versus University of Delhi. The court held that the expression equal protection from laws is now being read as a positive obligation on the state to ensure equal protection of laws by bringing in necessary social economic changes so that everyone may enjoy equal protection of the laws and nobody is denied such protection. Hence, this discrimination clearly violates Article 14. The object sought to be achieved by the Green Wakanda policy is to lower the levels of pollution in the state of Wakanda. The government stated that the major pollution noted was from vehicles, but it is nowhere stated that only and only vehicles cause pollution. But the restrictions are put forward only on vehicles. How is this intangible differential? The pollution is not only caused by vehicles, but there are many other factors too that cause pollution. One of them is harmful gas emissions from factories, which are governmental as well as non-governmental. So the restrictions put forth are ambiguous and lack direct, clear, objective-based results. This is a clear case of arbitrariness and the differential on which the restrictions are put forth and lack base and access to equality can be
You
said
can
in the
stop,
Article
please.
14.
You can stop. It's all right. I have one question for you.
Yes, your lord, ladyship.
Yeah. Which article talks about the maintainability of a petition?
The maintainability of petition, the writ petition is filed under the Article 226 of the Constitution of Gotham, and we file this petition under the violation of certain fundamental rights.
That's
And
all right. I
Article
just
13.
asked that much. No, it's okay. Explanation. I just asked one thing. That's it. We can go for the rebuttal.
My worthy respondent stated that the violation of fundamental right is sine qua non of the exercise of the right conferred by Article 226. This condition stands approved as the policy clearly violates Article 14 due to the arbitrary provision, Article 19(1)d by restricting the use of personal vehicles, Article 19(1)g by the restrictions put forward by the policy, and Article 21 as the provisions of the policy are taking away means of livelihood of many citizens, such as taxi drivers. The respondent also contended that the vehicular pollution adds to 28% of the total pollution. Hence, what about the left 72%? Curbing 28% of pollution by putting restrictions in the name of the policy will not even benefit 50% for the eradication of pollution. Hence, the Council for Petitioners humbly submits that the provisions of the policy are arbitrary and infringes fundamental rights of individuals. Hence, the policy must be declared invalid in accordance with the Article 13. If your ladyship is satisfied with the rebuttal, the council would like to move forward with the prayer.
No, we'll go for the respondent, please.
Yeah. Counsel for respondent, you have any sir rebuttal?
Let us wait for her to rejoin once. I think maybe internet issues at her place.
Yeah. Just drop the message. Ask her to rejoin. Mussoorie is actually a very nice place.
Yeah, I've been there.
Ma'am, you were saying about the food and all in Delhi. Have you ever tried that Hali Road Banga Bhavan?
No, I've not.
After this lockdown is over, just
Lockdown is over soon. If Corona is not ending, I'm not eating outside food. That is just not happening. Yeah, nobody should eat. None of you. Stay at home. Party at home.
that Bhagavan is a part of Bijoli Grill. I hope you have heard it. Bijoli Grill is
I've heard.
India ka first catering service.
I've heard the name. I'm not aware of the intricacies, but I've heard. Is she able to join?
Yes, I think Shreyas is talking to her.
Yes.
All right.
R180 cannot be able to join because of net issue. So
Okay,
All
fine.
right, then we'll end it here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine,
So
fine.
thank you so
Thank you so
much,
much.
petitioner. You can leave the.
Petitioner, you may leave the room.